Job growth slows sharply in October and the unemployment rate ticks up. I'm Lisa Bernhard with Reuters, and joining me today is Dryden Pence of Pence Capital Management. Dryden, I know that the UAW strikes were at least a small part of this, but what did you make of the October jobs report from the Labor Department out today?
Well, I think one of the key things is, you had this blowout report back in September and we had, there was a big adjustment. So I think that kind of came into what people really expected. And then obviously, when you look at the strike, that is a tick down in labor force participation a little bit. So you have to kind of clear out those numbers because strikes end, people go back to work. And while it's going to affect some of the industrial production, I think that, where we're moving into is a more normalized job growth distribution and probably a more normalized unemployment rate. So when we're looking at 3.8, 3.9, slight tick up, it gives the Fed more ammunition to do what they have in effect done. And that's kind of put on the pause, switch from this moment where we're worrying about not how high, but to how long. And they're going to let kind of duration do their job for them. So now we're in this, so it's a pause, and the pause is positive. And I think that that's an important thing for everybody to remember.
So third quarter GDP came in at almost 5%. What are you looking at for the fourth quarter, and particularly in terms of the state of the consumer when consumer spending drives so much of the economy?
The consumer spending bottom line, Americans make money and they spend it, right? We have more people working, making more money than ever before. We've got about 4.5 to 5 million more people working than we did at the height of pandemic. And so the consumer seems to be in good shape. It's slowing down. I like to say it's like you were going at 90 and now you're going 50. It feels slower, but it's still 10 times faster than you can walk. And so I think the consumers are still in pretty decent shape. I think it's going to be a good Christmas. And I think that you have a lot of people working. So the short answer is the consumers in pretty good shape still, but they are seeing signs of some slowdown, but it's not what I would consider signs of weakness.
So you say we're going to have a good Christmas. Apple sort of indicated that maybe it wouldn't be that great of a Christmas when it gave earnings yesterday and its shares are down today. But you think that Apple stock still has room to grow. Is that right?
I absolutely do. And we think that this, any pullback and things in Apple is probably an opportunity because people forget just how big Apple is. I mean, if you think about the combined population of India and the US and China is about 2 billion people, well, there's 2 billion registered users of Apple devices. So they in effect are servicing the second, third, and fourth largest populations of the world. People just forget. And if you just took Apple services alone, it would be a Fortune 50 company. So I think people forget how many ways Apple has to make money across all things. And when you fixate on just the iPhone or something else, you're missing the true picture of this behemoth, which is the number one consumer services company in the world, in my opinion.
So Dryden, we're seeing about 80+% of companies beat for third quarter earnings. What do you expect to see for the fourth quarter?
I think you're going to see similar performance. I think what's happened is people have underestimated the fact that American corporations, they need to know their cost of capital. Well, now that we've reached this pause or very close to it, CFOs and business managers, they're massively creative. Now they know their cost of capital, their cost of inventory. They can manage their margins and be in a better position to be predictive about it. But I think they've all been kind of lowballing everything. They were planning for a recession that did not happen. So I think when you hit fourth quarter, what you're going to see is a similar percentage of significant outperformance, and probably 80% of the companies in fourth quarter are going to beat as well, because now everybody can kind of be a little more optimistic about what's going on. They've been downplaying the earnings. It's been a low bar. It's easy to beat. I think we move forward from here.